welcome to another day of Vlogmas. My 25 books that I want to read in 2025. Back to my channel and welcome to another day of Vlogmas. I know I said today's video was going to be the second to last day, but this is really going to be the last day. I don't know why I miscalculated how many videos I was doing because my goal was to do 12 days of Vlogmas. This is the 12th day and I was gonna come out with a video tomorrow, which I'm already filming that video, so I'm still gonna have it come out in December, but instead of during Vlogmas, it's gonna come out like the 29th, the 30th, like around there. It's not gonna be coming out during Vlogmas, so this is actually the last video for Vlogmas, which is crazy. This last video is going to be my 25 books that I want to read in 2025. It's crazy to say that we're going into 2025. I don't know why, but I feel like 2024 was always very normal to me. Maybe that's because it was my graduation year and I was just always looking forward to 2024 and it always sounded normal. But saying 2025 is just so weird to me, and yeah, I honestly can't believe it. When we start getting into the 30s, that's when I'm gonna start going crazy, because yeah, that's just a whole other level. But let's focus on 2025 for now. So basically, I'm going to be talking about the 25 books that I have written down that I want to read in 2025. I actually didn't even realize what I did when I wrote down the books, but I have 4 groups. There's 6 new books that I want to start that are at the beginning of a series, 6 new releases, 7 I think books that are in the middle of a series that I need to continue, and then 5 random books that are just on my shelf, my physical TBR that I need to get through. Yeah, that is what my TBR looks like, but we're going to go through all of those books. So first, we're going to talk about the physical books that I have, and then we'll get into the books that I don't have. So the first book I have is If Only I Had Told Her. This is the book that comes after If He Had Been With Me. And I don't know why, I still haven't read this book. I just haven't been in the mood to get back into this book, especially because I know If He Had Been With Me was such an emotional book, so I know this one is going to be the exact same. So I need to be in the mood and be prepared for an emotional book, but I'm gonna read the synopsis of every single book. So this one says, Finn has always loved Autumn. She's not just the girl next door or his mother's best friend's daughter. She is his everything, but she's not his girlfriend. That's Sylvie, and Finn would never hurt her, so there's no way Autumn could know how he truly feels. Jack, Finn's best friend, isn't so sure. He's seen Finn and Autumn together. How could she not know? And how is he supposed to support and protect Finn when heartache seems inevitable? Autumn surrounds herself with books and wants to write her own destiny, but one doesn't always get a new chapter, and fate can be cruel to those in love. Told through 3 different perspectives, If Only I Had Told Her is a love story brimming with the truth, tragedy, and the unexpected bonds that heal us. So yeah, I'm interested to see what his best friend has to say in this book, getting his point of view. What does he know that is so important that we needed a book about it? Because I have heard people saying that they didn't love this book and they didn't feel like it was necessary. I am interested to see what happened after, even though maybe it could have stopped after the first book, but I already have it and I'm interested, so yeah, this is definitely going on my 25 books to read. Next, we have Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. If you guys don't know, one of my favorite books by her is After I Do and One True Love, but mainly After I Do. I loved that book so much. There's so many different meanings in that book and it just felt so deep, and I don't know why, I just loved that book so much. So this book, I don't know if it's in the same world, but they all have the same kind of spine and they have the same vibe to it, in the front. So I just picked up this book because I was surely it has to be the same amount of good that One True Loves and After I Do was. So I got this book. I honestly can't remember what it's even about, so again, we're gonna read the back. It says, at the age of 29, Hannah Martin still has no idea what she wants to do with her life. She has lived in 6 different cities and has held countless meaningless jobs since college, but on the heels of a disastrous breakup, she has finally returned to her hometown of Los Angeles. To celebrate with her first night back, her best friend Gabby takes Hannah out to a bar where she bumps into her high school boyfriend, Ethan. It's just past midnight when Gabby asks Hannah if she's ready to go. Ethan quickly offers to give her a ride later if she wants to stay. Hannah hesitates. What happens if she leaves with Gabby? What happens if she leaves with Ethan? In concurrent storylines, Hannah lives out the effects of each decision. Quickly, these parallel universes develop into surprisingly different stories with far-reaching consequences for Hannah and the people around her, raising questions including, is anything meant to be? How much in our lives is determined by chance? And perhaps most compellingly, is there such a thing as a soulmate? Hannah believes there is, and in both worlds, she believes she's found him. I'm kind of confused. I don't even know what that meant by reading that, honestly. In concurrent storylines, Hannah lives out the effects of each decision. What does concurrent mean? Happening at the same time? Maybe it's it's gonna show if she makes this decision, how her life is gonna end up, and if she chooses this decision, how her life is gonna end up. If that's the storyline, that sounds so interesting. I don't know, that's what I understood by it. Don't really know, but either way, again, I got this book because I loved her other 2 books, One True Loves and After I Do. Yeah, we'll see about this one. Next, we have By a Thread. This is by Lucy Score, a very thick book. My favorite YouTubers have loved this book, so I'm very interested to see what the hype about this one is about. So this one says, Dominic was staring at me like he couldn't decide whether he loathed me or wanted to French kiss me. That's what the top says. And then it says, Dominic, I got her fired. Okay, so I'd had a bad day and took it out on a bystander in a pizza shop. But there's nothing demure about Ali Morales. She proves that on the first day of her new job, which just happens to be in my office. And I can't fire her because it's my mother, the CEO, who hired her. So maybe her colorful, annoying, and inexplicably alluring personality brightens up the magazine's office that had felt like prison for the past year. Maybe I like that she argues with me in front of the editorial staff, and maybe my after-hour fantasies are haunted by those brown eyes and that sharp tongue. She's working herself to death at a half-dozen dead-end jobs for some secret reason she doesn't feel like sharing with me, and I'm gonna fix it all. Don't accuse me of caring. She's nothing more than a puzzle to be solved. If I can get her to quit working here, I can finally peel away all those layers. Then I can forget all about the dancing, beer-slinging brunette. At the bottom, it says Ali, and the only thing hers says is, ha, hold my beer, charming. That is so funny. I'm guessing that's just gonna be her vibe for the rest of the book. She's just like that girl. This sounds interesting. It's another like grumpy, I'm guessing it's like Grumpy Sunshine. I don't usually love Grumpy Sunshines. It definitely has to be done right for me to like it. Yeah, this is another one that I'm interested in. Next, we have The Way I Used to Be. This one I'm so scared of because this, I've heard, is a very heavy book. I don't know what originally possessed me to get this book. I honestly don't know why. I don't even think I read the back, but it has been on my shelf for such a long time that I'm like, you know what? I think this is going to be the year where I finally get to this book. And I know there's a book that's also after it too that's come out already, but I'm not sure what it's called. And yeah, so the back, it says, I want to get as far away from the past as possible, be as different from that girl as I can. Eden was always good at being good. Starting high school didn't change who she was, but that night her brother's best friend rapes her, Eden's world capsizes. What was once simple is now complex. What Eden once loved, who she once loved, she now hates. What she thought she knew to be true are now lies. Nothing makes sense anymore, and she knows she's supposed to tell someone what happened, but she can't. So she buries it instead, and she buries the way she used to be. Told in 4 parts, freshman, sophomore, junior, and senior year, this provocative debut reveals the deep cuts of trauma, but it also demonstrates one young woman's strength as she navigates the disappointment and unbearable pains of adolescence, of first love and first heartbreak, of friendships broken and rebuilt, all while learning to embrace a power of survival she never knew she had hidden within her heart. As you guys could probably tell, there's a lot of stuff that happens in this book. Reading this book is going to be hard to get through, but also it might open my eyes to a lot of stuff, so that's why I'm interested in this book, and I think I should finally read it. Next book is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. This is another one where I have heard such good things about, and I'm just so interested in the story. Like, I've heard little things about it, and it has sounded interesting. So this one, I don't know where it talks about like what the book is about. France, 1714. In a moment of desperation, a young woman named Adeline meets a dangerous stranger and makes a terrible mistake. As she realizes the limitations of her something bargain, being able to live forever without being able to be remembered by anyone she sees, Addie chooses to flee her small village as everything she once held dear is torn away. But there are still dreams to be had and a life to live, and she is determined to find excitement and satisfaction in the wide beckoning world, even if she will be doomed to be alone forever. Or not quite alone, as every year on their anniversary, the alluring Luke comes to visit, checking to see if she is ready to give up her soul. Their darkly thrilling game stretches through ages, seeing Addie witness history and fight to regain herself as she crosses oceans and tries on various lives. It will be 300 years before she stumbles into a hidden bookstore and discovers someone who can remember her name, and suddenly everything changes. Yeah, this book is basically about a girl. She made a deal with someone that no one's gonna remember her like the next day, like when they already seen her, and there's one guy that he remembers her. So that sounds interesting. I'm guessing there is a romance in this book, but I'm just interested as to why everyone loves this book and why it is like such a strong story. And also, I just like love the cover of this book. Like, it's so simple, but when I look at it every time, it makes me want to read it. But then I just get scared, so yeah, but it is added to my TBR, so now it's gonna be higher on my radar. Okay, next book we have is Brutal Prince. This book, I think it's like a mafia romance book, if I'm not mistaken, and another book that I randomly grabbed one day just because I'd heard of it, but I literally didn't know what it was about at all. Been on my shelf for a long time, but this one says, on top, it says, they're a match made in hell, and then it says, the Griffins and the Gallows have been battling for control of Chicago's underworld for generations. Their rivalry has always been flammable, but it reignites with a fury when Ada, the youngest and wildest Gallows sibling, crashes a party at the Griffin mansion and accidentally sets fire to the library. To save off all that war, her father quickly arranges a marriage between her and Callum Griffin, eldest son and heir to the Irish mafia. Cold, ambitious, and brutal, Callum is determined to tame his headstrong new bride, but Ada is more than capable of giving as good as she gets, starting with poisoning Callum on their wedding night. The problem is, murdering him would be a lot easier if he didn't look so good while she was trying to do it. She's got a lockbox around her heart, he's got something to prove. In their struggle for dominance, who will go up in flames first? This sounds very high stakes, and I'm so excited for it. Oh, there's pictures in this book. That's so cool. I've never read a book that has pictures in it. Wait, I love it. Then you can like actually see what the characters like look like. Oh, that picture's not appropriate. Sounds interesting. So I'm excited. This is a whole series. Like, these are all the books in the series. So I am scared, obviously, to get into like a new series and read all these books. But if it is good, I'll probably want to continue it. If it's not good, I probably won't be interested in continuing it. But we will see. Next, we have Hooked. These books in this series, I'm pretty sure they're like retellings of fairy tales, which sounds so interesting to me. Recently, my cousin read this book and she was like, have you heard of this book? And I was like, yes, I actually have it on my shelf. I haven't read it yet. And she said it was so good and that she wants to continue the series. So that just put it higher on my radar because I had seen this on TikTok, I think, and then I saw it in the bookstore and I was like, I'm just gonna get it. Like, that was my problem when I used to just buy books randomly. I would just buy the books and not even know what it was about. But I've gotten better. But anyway, after like doing my research, after my cousin told me about it, they do sound really interesting. This one I think is a Peter Pan retelling. It says, he wants revenge, but he wants her more. James has always had one agenda, destroy his enemy, Peter Michaels. When Peter's 20-year-old daughter, Wendy, shows up in James' bar, he sees his way in, seduce the girl and use her for his revenge. It's the perfect plan until things in James's organization begin to crumble. Suddenly he has to find the traitor in his midst, and his plan for revenge gets murkier as James starts to see Wendy as more than just a pawn in his game. Wendy has been cloistered away most of her life by her cold, wealthy father, but a spontaneous night out with friends turns into an intense and addictive love affair with the dark and brooding James. As much as she knows James is dangerous, Wendy can't seem to shake her desire for him, but as their relationship grows more heated and she learns more about the world he moves in, she finds herself unsure if she's falling for the man known as James or the monster known as Hook. That's crazy. Okay, wait, so he's Captain Hook's son, maybe? But this sounds so interesting. I love the idea of fairy tale retellings. I think it's so fun, especially for like people that love Disney when they were younger and now they're older and they read and now they can read like books, like retelling books that are just more like entertaining and spicy maybe. But yeah, this does sound really interesting, and the other books in the series also sound interesting too. Again, it's like different fairy tales, so I think I might actually really like this and this whole series. Next book we have, which I know some people will be very excited about, it is A Court of Thorns and Roses. I was gonna start this book this year. I think I was gonna start it in like a popular books video or something, and I just couldn't get through it. I wasn't in the mood for it. I think that was the problem. Like, I need to get into this book and like popular books in general when I'm in the mood for them, because I need to enjoy them for myself, not because it's like hyped up. As you guys probably know, this book and this series is extremely hyped up, so when I read it, I know I want to like it like everyone else does. I honestly don't know the concept of this book. I just know it's a very popular book. So it says, when 19-year-old huntress Feyre kills a wolf in the woods, a terrifying creature arrives to demand retribution. Dragged to a treacherous magical land she knows about only from legends, Feyre discovers that her captor is not truly a beast, but one of the lethal immortal fairies who once ruled her world. At least he's not a beast all the time. As she adapts to her new home, my gosh, I can't read. As she adapts to her new home, her feelings for the fairy, Tamlin, transform from icy hostility into a fiery passion that burns through every lie she's been told about the beautiful, dangerous world of the Fae. But something is not right in the fairy land. An ancient wicked shadow is growing, and Feyre must find a way to stop it or doom Tamlin and his world forever. Again, I don't really know what it's about, honestly, but I just know that everyone loves this series. I have heard this book is a more of like a world building book. Like you have to understand the world in this book, and then the rest of the series it gets really good, like with the plot, the characters, all of that. So yeah, I do want to officially start this book next year. Another scary thing is like I feel like I'm starting so many new series next year, so it's like once I start these books that I just told you guys about, I'm gonna continue, so it's like even more books that I'm gonna be reading. So it is a little scary, but it's okay. Next book we have is Twisted Lies. This is the last book in the Twisted series, and I still need to read Twisted Hate. I'm adding Twisted Lies because I know I'm definitely gonna want to finish Twisted Hate very soon. Stay tuned. Definitely think I will be able to get to Twisted Lies and actually finish the Twisted series next year. Finally, I feel like I've been reading this series for such a long time. But I know this book is about Christian and Stella. So the back says, charming, deadly, and smart enough to hide it, Christian Harper is a monster dressed in the perfectly tailored suits of a gentleman. He has little use for morals and even less use for love, but he can't deny the strange pull he feels towards the woman living just one floor below him. She's the object of his darkest desires, the only puzzle he can't solve, and when the opportunity gets closer to her arises, he breaks his own rules to offer her a deal she can't refuse. Every monster has their weakness, she's his obsession, his addiction, his only exception. And then it says, sweet, shy, and introverted, despite her social media fame, Stella Alonso is a romantic who keeps her heart in a cage. Between her two jobs, she has little time or desire for a relationship, but when a threat from her past drives her into her arms and house of the most dangerous man she's ever met, she's tempted to let herself feel something for the first time in a long time. Because despite Christian's cold nature, he makes her feel everything when she's with him. Passionate, protected, truly wanted. Theirs is a love twisted with secrets and tainted by lies, and when the truths are finally revealed, they could shatter everything. Honestly, it's giving the same vibe that all the Twisted books give, very drama filled. This is the thickest book in the series, so I'm hoping there's more going on because the books have gotten thicker as you go on, but I feel like they all feel the same to me, so hopefully maybe this one will be better than the rest. That's what I'm hoping. Next, we have A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. This book, I'm pretty sure it's the second book in the series, actually. I think the first book is Things I Wanted to Say. Again, for some reason, when I got this book, I didn't do my research, and I literally just bought this one without knowing that this was the second book. I do have to read the first book, so technically the first book should be on my TBR. I need to get to this book because this has also been on my TBR for such a long time. So basically the first two books, technically on my TBR. This one says, Ren Beaumont is many things, beautiful, smart, innocent. Everyone at Lancaster Prep either loves her or wants to be her. I'm the only one who sees Ren for who she really is, a repressed little Miss Perfect who keeps her feelings locked up so tight she's probably close to bursting. She thinks she's above us all, even me. I shouldn't be drawn to her, she's not my type. Until we're forced to work together on a school project and realize we might have more things in common than we thought. Soon enough, I find myself completely obsessed with her, no matter how unlikely we are to everyone else, and I will do anything to make this girl fall in love with me. These books do sound a little crazy, but we'll see. I've heard good things about this series and bad things, so a little bit of mixed reviews. I do honestly have this on my TBR because it's on my shelf and I need to get to it. I think all the books that I'm talking to you guys about right now are the last few books that I have on my actual shelf to read. So yeah. Next, we have the Mindfuck series. This one might be a little bit of cheating because this is the whole series. These are all books 1 through 5 in this thick book. But everyone reads it as one book. I'm technically counting this as a book because this is how thick normal books are nowadays. And the fact that there's 5 books in here is crazy because literally normal books are this thick now. So I'm counting it as one book. This one, I'm pretty sure they're like serial killers. Or no, the girl is a serial killer and the guy is a cop like on her case and trying to figure out who it is. And then they strike up like a romance and he doesn't know it's her. And yeah, it sounds really interesting. I think that's basically what it's about, but we'll read the back still. It says, they took too much, left too little. I had nothing to lose until him. I didn't expect him. I didn't want to fall in love, but I can't let him go. Logan Bennett makes the world a safer place. He's brilliant. He's a hero. He locks away the sick and depraved. But while he's saving lives, I'm taking them, collecting the debts that are owed to me. 10 years ago, they took from me. They left me for dead. They should have made sure I stayed dead. Now I'm taking from them, one name at a time. I've trained for too long. I've been patient. I can't stop now. Revenge is best served cold. They never see me coming until I paint their walls red. Logan doesn't know how they hurt me. He doesn't know about the screams they ignored. He doesn't know how twisted the town really is. He just really knows people are dying. He doesn't know he's in love with their killer. No one suspects a dead girl, and Logan doesn't suspect the girl in his bed. They're looking for a monster, not a girl who loves red, not a girl in love. I'm a faceless nightmare, at least until I tell them the story they pretend to never happen. But in the end, will Logan choose them, or will we catch them burned together? This sounds so so good. My best friend Marcella loves this series so much, and some other people I know, they do also love this series. So I'm so excited to get into this. I honestly think I might really like it. And yeah, this has also been on my shelf actually not a long time. I think I got this last year for Christmas. Yeah, I am excited to get to this. This is a book that's definitely going to be high on my radar for 2025. Next, we have The Housemaid's Secret. This is the book that comes after The Housemaid. And I honestly don't know what this one about. I'm guessing it's the same maid that goes to a different house and helps different people. I'm guessing it's another thriller, obviously. It says, "It's hard to find an employer who doesn't ask too many questions about my past. So I thank my lucky stars that the Garricks miraculously gave me a job cleaning their stunning penthouse with views across the city and preparing fancy meals in their shiny kitchen. I can work here for a while, stay quiet until I get what I want. It's almost perfect, but I still haven't met Mrs. Garrick or seen inside the guest bedroom. I'm sure I hear her crying. I notice spots of blood around the neck of her white nightgowns when I'm doing laundry, and one day I can't help but knock on the door. When it gently swings open, what I see inside changes everything. That's when I make a promise. After all, I've done this before. I can protect Mrs. Garrett while keeping my own secrets locked up safe. Douglas Garrett has done wrong. He is going to pay. It's simply a question of how far I'm willing to go." So I honestly did really like The Housemaid and that plot twist and like everything that happened in this book. So I am interested in how it's going to be in this book. I'm guessing it's going to be the same but different. And I have heard people say that she's honestly dragging this Housemaid series a little bit too far. I don't know. We'll see how I feel about this book and then if I want to continue the whole series, but I definitely do want to read this book and see if it hits the same as The Housemaid did. Next, we have Full Measures by Rebecca Yarros. My friend on the team got me this for Secret Santa last year, and I didn't know what it was about. I feel like I read the back, but I already forgot what it was about. And again, this is another book that I added to my TBR because it's been on my shelf. This is also a series. Again, it just depends if I like the book that much to continue the series, so we'll see. It says, "After 20 years as an army brat, Ember Howard knew that soldiers at the door meant her dad was never coming home. What she didn't know was how she could find the strength to single-handedly care for her crumbling family when everything starts to fall apart. Then Josh Walker enters her life, hockey star, her new next-door neighbor, and not to mention that he saves her over and over again. He has a way of erasing the pain with a single look, a single touch. As much as she wants to turn off her feelings and endure the heartache on her own, she can't deny their attraction until Josh's secret shatters both their worlds." This book honestly sounds like it's going to be not heavy, but an emotional book. And I feel like just the look of it, it's giving emotional. And I haven't read emotional books in such a long time. So books like this and like If Only I Had Told Her, like more of those emotional books, I think I'm going to read closer to like the beginning of the year. So this one I think I will definitely get to. And I am interested to see because it does sound very heartfelt. Like it is going to make me cry. And I'm hoping it does because I haven't had a book do that in such a long time. And then the last book on my physical TBR is Wrecked by Lauren Asher. This is the third book in the Dirty Air series. If you guys haven't watched one of my Vlogmas videos, I recently read Collided, and it took me such a long time to read Collided after reading Throttled. I had no clue why, because I actually did like the series. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, so I don't want to wait too long to finish the rest of the series. There's only this one and Redeemed that comes right after it, so I definitely want to get to this one. This is about Jax and Elena. For Jax's point of view up here, it says, "Pills, alcohol, adrenaline. I'm addicted to destructive decisions that numb my pain until I make a catastrophic mistake that jeopardizes my career. So to repair my broken reputation, my Formula One team hires Elena Gonzalez. She is a glorified babysitter paid to keep me in check during the race season, and I'm hell-bent on making her quit before either of us act on our attraction to one another. She's my damnation disguised as my salvation and my newest addiction." And then under Elena, it says, "I beg the universe to help me with my financial struggles, and Jax Kingston answered my call with a public relations disaster. The job sounds simple in theory, but the broody British driver turns our hotel suite into a battleground, wielding his words as a weapon and his demons as an escape. I soon learned that to beat the enemy, I need to exploit his weaknesses, only for me to realize I'm his biggest one." This one I have been so excited for. I have loved Jax since the first book, and you get a little bit of hints of them in Collided, so I'm really excited for this one, and I think I might actually really enjoy it. So excited for that one. Okay, now we're gonna talk about books that are on my radar and have been on my radar for a while. I just don't have physical copies of them because, again, I have been holding myself back from buying books if I'm not going to read them like right then and there. I have been holding myself back from buying books, so that's why I don't have most of these that are gonna be on my TBR, but obviously when I read them I might get the physical copies of them. We'll see how I feel, but yeah. So the first one is The Serpent and the Wings of the Night. This one I've heard it has to do with like vampires, which I find so interesting. If you guys don't know, I love the Vampire Diaries, so having to read a book about it that is actually good, that people enjoy, sounds so interesting to me. So I don't know why I said interesting like that. Says, human or vampire, the rules of survival are the same. Never trust, never yield, and always guard your heart. The adopted human daughter of the night-born vampire king, Araya, carved her place in a world designed to kill her. Her only chance to become something more than prey is entering the Kahari, a legendary tournament held by the goddess of the death herself. But winning won't be easy amongst the most vicious warriors from all three vampire houses. To survive, Araya is forced to make an alliance with a mysterious rival. Everything about Ryan is dangerous. He is a ruthless vampire, an efficient killer, an enemy to her father's crown, and her greatest competition. Yet what terrifies Araya most of all is that she finds herself oddly drawn to him. But there's no room for compassion in the Kahari. War for the House of Night brews, shattering everything that Araya thought she knew about her home, and Rain may understand her more than anyone. But their blossoming attraction could be her downfall in a kingdom where nothing is more deadly than love. The Serpent and the Wings of the Night is the first book in a new series, blah blah blah. Oh, and it says perfect for fans of A Court of Thorns and Roses. That's so interesting. Yeah, that one just sounds good because it's about vampires, and that's why I'm really intrigued in the book, so excited for that one for sure. Next book we have is Lightlark. I recently have been hearing people talk about this series. I think there's 3 books out right now. It sounds so interesting to me. Again, I love a book has like trials and like tournaments, competitions. I love that, and I have heard that this book has that. So this one says, welcome to the Centennial. I don't really know what that says.
Hi guys, don't mind me cutting in. I'm editing right now. I'm also sick, so don't mind me, but I'm so embarrassed watching this clip right now. Watching me trying to pronounce this word and me just simply not even trying for the rest of the time that I read this whole synopsis. It's so embarrassing. I'm pretty sure the way you say it is centennial. Right now reading it, it just like popped in my head and I was fine. And I don't know why, when I was reading it then, I did not know what it was saying. Like, I'm so embarrassed watching this, so please, no one make fun of me.
Every 100 years, the island of Lightlark appears to host the whatever, a deadly game that only the rulers of 6 realms are invited to play. The invitation is a summons, a call to embrace victory and ruin, baubles and blood. The whatever offers the 6 rulers one final chance to break the curses that have plagued their realm for centuries. Each ruler has something to hide. Each realm's curse is uniquely wicked. To destroy the curses, one ruler must die. Isla Crown is the young ruler of Wildling, a realm of temptresses, cursed to kill anyone they fall in love with. They are feared and despised and are counting on Isla to end their suffering by succeeding at the whatever. To survive, Isla must lie, cheat, and betray, even as love complicates everything. So there is a romance in this book, which obviously intrigues me, and the competition aspects and like fantasy books, just it makes it so much more entertaining, I feel like. So I am definitely excited to read this book and to see if I like it to continue the rest of the series too. Next, we're going on to some new releases in the new year. So obviously I don't have the physical copy of new releases because, you know, they haven't come out yet. I'm so excited for all of these. So the first one is Wild Side by Elsie Silver. I'm so excited for this one. If you guys don't know, I love Wild Eyes, the second book in this series, so much. I gave it 5 stars. So I'm really excited to see what Wild Side is going to be like, if I'm going to love it as much. We have gotten hints of this couple in the past few books. This one says, I'd always dreamed of my wedding day, but not like this, not looking into the eyes of a man who betrayed me. But when my nephew's guardianship is contested, I decide I'll do whatever it takes to keep him in Rose Hill, even if it means marrying the enemy, Reese Duprice. A man who is secretive, broody, and completely infuriating. A man whose work takes him away for weeks on end and brings him back covered in mysterious bruises, one he won't talk about. In fact, we barely talk at all, which would be fine, except when he's not talking, he's staring, and the way he looks at me is borderline indecent. The tension between us has always been palpable, but living under the same roof is a dangerous temptation. I swear I would never forgive him, but that was before I knew the man behind the mask. The one who's fierce and protective, the one who's gentle and patient, the one who shows up for us when we needed him the most. He's not at all who I thought he was, and that makes hating my husband so much harder, and loving him just a little too easy. So it's like an arranged marriage. These books are single. I thought they were all single dad, but they might just be single parent. I'm not really sure by what I just read. Again, I'm just so excited because it's another Elsie Silver book and I love her. So yeah, there's that one. Next, there's Gloves Off by Stephanie Archer. This is the 4th book in the Vancouver Storm series, and I have been loving these books so far. The last one kind of fell a little bit short for me, but the other 2 books I love. So this one says, the only way to get my inheritance, marry Alexei Volkov, another arranged marriage. Wow. It says, the grumpiest enforcer in the NHL, a brutally handsome jerk, and the last man I'd ever fall for. In public, we act as besotted newlyweds, but in private, we're at each other's throats. He's competitive, arrogant, and surly. The guy's never cracked a smile in his life. He's jealous of my ex. He glares at my high school heels. What? Oh, he glares at my high heels, not me saying high school, and insists he's not attracted to me. He is only marrying me for citizenship. Fighting with Alexei is more fun than expected, though, and beneath his grouchy exterior, oh my god, I can't read today. I think I've just been reading too much. Alexei is surprisingly caring, protective, and generous. He cooks for me and worries about my safety. He sends me flowers with secret meanings and spends way too much money on me. He makes me sleep in his bed and calls me his wife. For a guy who said he'd never fall in love with me, Alexei's doing a good impression of it, and now I'm wondering if this marriage is fake after all. Gloves Off is an enemies to lovers, marriage of convenience, hockey romance. This sounds really good, actually, and I'm so excited because I love how Stephanie Archer writes her romances. I think this is the first book that she's done, at least in the Vancouver Storm series, like an enemies to lovers, so I am interested how this one is gonna go. Next book I'm really excited for is Rewind It Back by Liz Tomford. It's the last book, I think, and the 5th book in the Windy City series. This one doesn't have any synopsis, so I can't really tell you guys what it's about, but I will say that it's about Rio, and it says Hallie's book. I don't think we've met a Hallie, but we have definitely met Rio. We have seen him since the first book, and he is probably more golden retriever than Isaiah from Play Along. He is so much fun. He's so funny. He's friends with like all the girls in the books, and I love him so much. Like, just the fact that you're able to see his personality like shine through books that aren't even his just says a lot. So the fact that we're gonna get a whole book on him, I'm so excited to read about it. So yeah, I'm kind of sad that we don't have a synopsis yet on the book and we don't know like what it's gonna be about. Some people said that they think it's gonna be about someone from his past, like a second chance romance, which I think will be so interesting to see considering how he is. Like, he's just very fun. So to see him have like someone from his past and to learn about his past, I'm just so excited. So yeah, that's that one. Next we have Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. Love Emily Henry. I have a whole stack of her books on my shelf, so I obviously am so excited to see what this book is gonna make me feel, because I feel like Emily Henry's books, they always have more to it than a romance and always make you feel a lot more than you think. So this one says, 2 writers compete for the chance to tell the larger-than-life story of a woman with more than a couple of plot twists up her sleeve in this dazzling and sweeping new novel from Emily Henry. Alice Scott is an eternal optimist still dreaming of her big writing break. Hayden Anderson is a something prize-winning human thundercloud, and they're both on balmy Little Crescent Island for the same reason, to write the biography of a woman no one has seen in years, or at least to meet the octogenarian who claims to be the Margaret Ives. Tragic Harris, former tabloid princess and daughter of one of the most storied and scandalous families of the 20th century. When Margaret invites them both for a 1-month trial period, after which she'll choose the person who will tell her story, there are 3 things keeping Alice's head in the game. 1, Alice genuinely likes people, which means people usually like Alice, and she has a whole month to win the legendary woman over. 2, she's ready for this job and the chance to impress her something unimpressed family with a serious publication. 3, Hayden Anderson, who should have no reason to be concerned about losing this book, is glowering at her in a shaken to the core way that suggests he sees her as a competition. But the problem is Margaret is only giving each of them pieces of her story, pieces they can't swap out to put together because of an ironclad NDA and an inconvenient yearning pulsing between them every time they're in the same room. And it's becoming abundantly clear that their story, just like the tale Margaret's spinning, could be a mystery, tragedy, or love ballad, depending on who's telling it. That sounds so good, because again, you're definitely getting more than a romance in this book. Also learning about another woman's life and what she's telling them about her life and what it's gonna look like when each of them write what they've heard, because they're hearing different things. That actually sounds so good. I think this might be one of the best synopsises I've read from Emily Henry. So that sounds really exciting, actually. Last new release is Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. This is the 4th book, I think, in the Rebel Blue Ranch series, and the last one, I believe. This one I'm so excited for. I think I might like this one the most. We have been hinting at these characters since the first book, I believe, and it's a second chance romance, and I'm so excited. I also love second chance romances because you see them like have that past and that history, so it's just so much more deeper. This one says, she's the one that got away, he's the one that never let her go. Camille Ashwood had always loved a plan. Her latest was her best yet. She was going to get married so she could secure her daughter's future, get her overbearing parents off her back, and finally start building her own life in a small town, Meadowlark, Wyoming. Easy, right? But when her groom doesn't show up to the wedding, Cam's life is turned upside down. She doesn't even have a place to live. That is, until she finds out the house she's loved since high school is available to rent. There's only one problem, the neighbor. Dusty Tucker has spent nearly all of his adult life running. Running from what though? More like who? Cam Ashwood. But ever since he returned home last year, the girl who was his first, well, everything, has become a woman seemingly determined to keep him at arm's length, and he was okay with that. At least that's what he kept telling himself. She was getting married after all, but now she's single and living next door. Dusty wants to show her that they can be friends and that he can stay put. Despite her best attempts to stay far away from Dusty Tucker, Cam realizes that being close to him is like slipping on her favorite jeans. Easy, comfortable. That is until past wounds start to open and feelings, both old and new, wreak havoc. Nearly 10 years after they first met, Dusty and Cam begin to wonder if their first love can also be their last, and this time will it be forever. This sounds like it's gonna be the best book in the series, honestly, which is crazy to say. I might be getting my hopes up, but it sounds like it's gonna be so good. And again, I love when books have that male main character that's already obsessed with her, and that's what I'm getting from this book, so I'm so excited for this one. Next, we have Love Unwritten. I actually have not read Love Redesigned yet by Lauren Asher, but I do want to read that soon, and I do want to read Love Unwritten. Again, Love Redesigned, I guess it's kind of on my TBR, but I do need to read that to get to Love Unwritten, so whatever. But Love Unwritten is about Raphael Ellie Sinclair is a hopeless romantic who writes love songs. I'm a struggling workaholic who could inspire 100 breakup albums. On paper, we have nothing in common except for my son. For 8 months, I avoid her until our summer trip. 14 days, 2 islands, and 1 nanny I shouldn't be attracted to. Spending time with Ellie is expected, but enjoying her company, that isn't a part of our travel plans. After my divorce, I swore to protect my heart at all costs, even if it means breaking hers in the process. That's why I said Raphael Ellie Sinclair. It said Raphael because that's like his point of view. Now it's Ellie's. What's worse than working for a grumpy single dad? Admitting that I once had a secret crush on him in high school. Thankfully, Rafael Lopez and I have changed since we graduated from Wisteria High. He's a billionaire with a company to run and a child to take care of. I'm an unemployed songwriter he hired to watch his son and teach music. We coexist without any issues until a vacation changes everything. Lines blur and old feelings for Rafael return with vengeance as I face a new dilemma. Being his son's nanny is one thing, but wishing for more sounds like a heartbreak song waiting to be written. I love when there's artists in books for some reasons, like song artists. I think it's so fun and interesting because then they like go and make a song about it. I just love it. This one also sounds really interesting. I've heard really good things about Love Redesigned and Love Unwritten, so I am very excited to read both of them. Next, we have Addicted for Now. This one is the 3rd book in the Addicted series, and this one I know people are going to be excited that I'm reading, especially Marcella. I'm also excited to read this series because I feel like this is a series that I am genuinely going to like. Like, I think there's a possibility that it could be on the same level, this is crazy, as Magnolia Parks. I think that would be crazy if it could like meet my expectations like that, because as you guys know, I love Magnolia Parks, and I think it honestly has the potential to do that. Yeah, Addicted for Now, it says, I think it's the same thing that they've been going through since the Addicted book, the first one, but it says, he's addicted to booze, she's addicted to sex, staying sober is only half the battle, no more sex. Those are the 3 words Lily Calloway fears the most, but Lauren Hale is determined to be with Lily without enabling her dangerous compulsions. With their new living situation, sleeping in the same bed for real together, Lily has new battles, like not jumping Lowe's bones every night, not being consumed by sex in his body. Lauren plans to stay sober, to right all of his wrongs, so when someone threatens to expose Lily's secrets to her family and the public, he promises that he'll do anything to protect her. But with old enemies surfacing, Lo has more at stake than his sobriety. They will torment Lily until Lo breaks, and his worst fear isn't relapsing. He hears the end, he sees it, the one thing that could change everything. Just 3 words, no more us. I don't really know what all of that meant, but I know what happens in the first 2 books, so I'm still excited regardless. Oh, I forgot to include another new release that I put, but I put Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I loved Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez so much. I think that's one of my favorite books by her for sure. This one, obviously it's titled by a Taylor Swift song, so it's probably going to be very romantic, but there might be no such thing as a perfect guy, but Xavier Rush comes disastrously close. Why can't I say that? A gorgeous veterinarian giving Greek god vibes, all while cuddling a tiny kitten? Immediately yes. That is until Xavier opens his mouth and proves that even a sculpted god, oh my god, even sculpted gods can say the absolute wrong thing. Like, really wrong. Of course, there's nothing Samantha loves more than proving an asshole wrong. Unless, of course, he can admit he made a mistake. But after one incredible and seemingly endless date, possibly the best in living history, Samantha is forced to admit the truth, that her family is in crisis and any kind of relationship would be impossible. Samantha begs Xavier to forget her, to remember their night together as a perfect moment, as crushing as that may be. Only know about a distance of or time is nearly enough to forget that something between them. And the only thing better than one single perfect memory is to make a life and even a love worth remembering. Again, I didn't really understand what that meant. Do they go on like one date and then never again? Yeah, I guess that's that book. And the last book on my TBR for 2025 is As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. This is the last book in the Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy. Obviously, I have read the first 2 books and I have really enjoyed them. I am scared that this book might be a little repetitive because that's the same way I felt about the second book. She is kind of doing the same thing, just following a different like crime file, I guess. Like, I don't really know how to explain it, but I do enjoy them, so it's not like it being repeated would be a bad thing, but maybe there'll be something different in this book. I'm not really sure. So let's see what it says. It says, by the end of this mysterious series, you'll never think of good girls the same way again. Pip is about to head to college, but she is still haunted by the way her last investigation ended. She's used to online death threats in the wake of her viral true crime podcast, but she can't help noticing an anonymous person who keeps asking her, who will look for you when you're the one who disappears? Soon the threats escalate and Pip realizes that someone is following her in real life. When she starts to find connections between her stalker and a local serial killer caught 6 years ago, she wonders if maybe the wrong man is behind bars. Police refuse to act, so Pip has only one choice: find the suspect herself or be the next victim. As the deadly game plays out, Pip discovers that everything in her small town is coming full circle, and if she doesn't find the answers, this time she'll be the one who disappears. This one is a little different because instead of following other people's cases, she's following the person that's stalking her. Like, she's trying to figure out how to save herself. So it actually does sound interesting. I'm so excited to actually read this one and finish the series. I'm actually excited to see what they're gonna do with like the TV series that they came out with on Netflix. Yeah, also, I do still have 7 books from my 24 books to read in 2024 that I still want to read, and I don't think I'm gonna get to all 7 of them, so I'm gonna say the 7 that I have left. If I don't get to them by the end of the year, they're still gonna be very high on my radar to read in 2025. So these 7 books are Cowardice by Lauren Roberts, Binding 13, the first Harry Potter book, Never by Jessa Hastings, Twisted Hate, Love Redesigned, and The Naturals. Those are the 7 books that I haven't read before the year ends. I still have about like 2 weeks, maybe a week left, and yeah, I think I could get at least like 3 knocked off the list, at least. And the other, the other 4 will still be high on my radar, not exactly on my official list to read in 2025, but they're still gonna be high on my radar to read. So I just wanted to say those, honorable mention them. But yeah, those are all the books that I want to read in 2025. I am so excited for a new year, fresh start to reading. Yeah, I'm honestly hoping 2025 is such a good reading year because I do have a lot of exciting books that I want to read and that I feel like I might actually love. Yeah, I'm excited for 2025 and the books that I'm going to read. So let me know if you guys have any of these books on your TBR, and if you're excited to read them, go follow my TikTok so that we can interact on there. I really want to get to 1,000 followers on my TikTok so that I can start going live, start talking to you guys. So yeah, my TikTok is down below. This is the last day of Vlogmas. If you guys have been watching all of Vlogmas, thank you so much. I have never done vlogs before. I've always watched it and I've always found it so cool. I honestly can't believe that I did it for 12 days straight. I don't think I could do it for 23, 24 days straight. I think that's crazy. But I am honestly so proud of myself for posting for 12 days straight because it has been rough. I have been getting to work. So even if no one is watching it, like the 100 people that watch the videos every day, because my views are like around 100, even those 100 people, I'm like, wow, 100 people are watching my video every day for 12 days. That's like still so crazy to me. So thank you for you guys that have been watching every day. It means a lot, actually. Yeah, I will probably be doing this next year. No promises, but I did really enjoy it doing it this year, so I don't see why I wouldn't next year. Yeah, I do have 2 more videos that are coming out before the year ends, so stay tuned for those. But this is the last vlogs video, so yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. That is the end of this video. Make sure to give it a like, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when I post my next video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.